We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. Again, as many of you know, I prefer to do these types of videos to vent out my thoughts in a constructive way. And it is more relevant for me because talking to most people's draining. And I'd much rather just talk to myself doing these streams, sharing my thoughts. As I find, unfortunately, a lot of people can't teach me shit. Um, there are exceptions, but that's the truth. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna take a gummy after I share my thoughts, but I'm gonna get my thoughts out in their most, clear state. I'm not freaking out like yesterday. Yesterday, a lot of realizations hit me at once about just how normalized it's become for people to be kind of invasive. And if you say something about it, you're sensitive. No, I have fucking boundaries because I know what boundaries looks like. I also know what not having boundaries looks like. And so last video I kind of talked about how I feel most people have normalized invasive behavior. They're very shallow, but they expect a confession out of you. But if that confession has anything deep or noteworthy, oh, you're bad. No. Most people are trash. Just straight fucking up trash. And I don't mean from one thing. Look, back in the days, I thought I was arrogant for thinking this way, but I realized it's a mindset. A lot of people have a loser mindset at everything. If I looked at myself as a kid, I had great aspirations, and for the most part, I have lived up to a lot of those aspirations. When it comes to creativity, talents, hobbies, skill sets, I've lived up to a majority of those. And I am almost 25, and I'm still finding new ways to improve, new routines, new endeavors. And a lot of this will be on display for many to see on YouTube as well. I have kind of turned my life into more of a movie. Call me dramatic. I don't. How do I say this? I try to show people with my actions, with my deeds, not my words, what I'm talking about. But I am more than happy to explain in depth. People think in-depth explanations of things is somehow some rage bait. No, that's just my genuine opinion about you. I would have said that with or without your intervention. If you just so happen to come at me with a clown-like behavior because you want to come at me with that angle to try to frame yourself to look like you're trolling me, I guess be my guest, post yourself getting roasted by me on your stream. There's a person who did this, and I'm like, you think you're trolling me by posting me calling you a pussy on your own channel? Damn. So I get to be promoted for roasting you on your own channel, and you're showing everyone how much of a dumb fuck you are? I guess this is how brain dead people are. Well, okay. A part of me would be pissed at your level of ignorance. I'm referring to a YouTuber called Enzo. But another part of me is like, oh, okay. So I get to roast you and you promote it on your channel? Cool. Awesome. Because when that channel blows up, when that creativity blows up, it's going to be huge. And you think you're trolling me. You getting roasted by me is you trolling me. Okay, well, if me talking shit to you on your own channel is getting trolled, I guess you're gonna really love it when I troll you. I'm gonna show you some of you who wanted to fuck with me what trolling looks like. It wasn't my intention, but okay, if you want to play that game. I'm laughing because rather than reacting, and again, I'm not trying to react right now, I'm simply just speaking obvious truth. It's like the sky is blue level obvious shit, you know? That's not reacting. It's like free, someone having free speech is trolling them. Really? Yeah, people are dumb. People are really dumb and irredeemable. Um, and I'm going to talk about that more. I don't try to make every video people are shit, but it's the more I improve, the stronger I get, the more and more I realize it really is mindset. So I'm going to discuss that. The first realization is that a lot of people are afraid to really just come as they are, you know, come as you are with nothing held back, and you will embrace the truth. It's that simple. But 99% of people are fake fucks. What do I mean by that? Well, today I was in the parkour gym, and they know me now. They recognize me. And, I could have just done the same thing I usually do, which is what? Going with the flow, uh, kind of waiting for approval, right? I don't actually do, I never really do this anyways. But I decided, you know what? No, I'm gonna do double flips today, but this time I'm gonna listen to my own music instead of the shit music they play. And I'm gonna put in my AirPods and I'm gonna do what a lot of people don't know how to do today, which is called locking the fuck in. When you train casually or when you train hard but you don't lock in, what really locking in looks like is when you zone out, detach, put those AirPods in and blast your music in your own ears. And because I listen to harder extreme music while everyone else is listening to this soft pussy shit, people look at me like I'm weird. And I'm just like, I don't even give a shit. Because I actually am enjoying myself when I'm listening to harder stuff while training. I actually enjoy that. I am that way in the gym. I'm that way when I run. That mindset should be taken everywhere. Blast your shit. Like, not, it doesn't have to be so loud other people can hear it, but who gives a fuck? You know, I used to not train and do free running with AirPods on, but now that I do it, I enjoy it. And they don't come out while I do double flips. So today I was training harder. I was more tired, but you know what? I was training harder because of that. And it's simple stuff like that where that can really change perspective. I didn't ask for anyone's permission, but it's AirPods in my ears. You can't control what someone does with their own AirPods in their ears, you know? And it's like, nobody can cancel you for that, but you are living in your authenticity when you are training the way you want to train, listening to the stuff you want to listen to. It's not just like that in the gym. Right now, I do that while practicing double front flips. I was recording videos today of me doing front flips onto 5 to 6 foot high mats, uh, barely touching my head without even touching my head. you know, some really cool stuff. And so I'll do that. I'll listen to my music, and then I get a tripod and a second phone to record me. So now I'm zoned out, listening to my music, enjoying myself, right? And filming it at the same time. I'm locking in and I'm getting good content out of it that I can make awesome videos out of. So I have something to show for it. You know, a lot of people don't do that. They don't know how to set up their own film equipment. They don't know how to lock in. They're kind of tacking all the time, but they don't have focus. That's why they're shit. Most people like. You can do that, but you're going to be wasting a lot more time. You get a lot less done, and you just don't enjoy it. It's restraining. It's confining. It's like locking yourself in a cage. Why do that to yourself? Why set? You should have boundaries with people, but don't put limits on yourself and your growth. Maximize that shit. A lot of people don't do that. I recover faster. I used to not be able to do double front flips and practice free running days in a row. Now I'm doing that. Now I'm doing faster flips. Now I'm actually doing slightly higher flips, you know. And I am now actually recording a lot more this year for that, so I will be probably releasing parkour videos, montages of free running, sorry, of double flips, compilations of it. Basically, music videos of me doing double flips on my fitness channel at the end of this year. And that wouldn't have been possible without focus. And that doesn't just apply to one thing, that can apply to all aspects of your life and training. Whether you're doing sparring training, whether you're doing free running, running, weightlifting, whatever, it's so much more enjoyable when you can lock in and listen to your own music. You know, it's just taking control of your life, really. It's simple. A lot of people, they look at that and they think that's abnormal. They think that's dysfunctional. It's like, no, I'm an intense person and I train with intensity, with angst. As a kid, I had that. I wish I knew this stuff as a kid. Because, oh my god, my childhood would have been so much better if I just put in AirPods all the time and trained to that. You know, I take pre workout, I'm stimulated. I don't go with the flow, I don't take it easy. Fuck all that gay shit. Seriously. Modern people nowadays don't have direction. They fucking have no vision. They lack vision. And they play it safe and they go soft. And that is just not going to be, that's just not going to get you anywhere. It doesn't matter what you do. Lock in and go get intense with it. When it comes to physical stuff, get intense. Like, obviously, once you know what you're doing, of course, once you have some control over your situations, lock in, get intense. Most people just don't do that. They're scared. What are others thinking? My music's too hard. So fuck all that. Fuck that. The most growth that you'll ever get is probably going to be on your own when it comes to art, physical stuff, etc. You know, it, the truth is, it comes from a place of passion. A lot of people are not passionate. They have no fucking dreams. And they have very little to aspire towards. That's the fucking truth. And it's not just me saying because I'm good at one thing, two things, three things, four things, five things, six, seven. It's taking that intensity to anything you enjoy or want to do, doesn't matter what it is, and applying that to anything you do, to anything. If it's not intense, it's soft, and you're not on the left hand path, and you're going to get minimal, shallow results. And if you are on the left hand path and you're not, applying the intensity to what you want to do effectively, you're fucked. If you are worshiping the devil and you're not on the left hand path, you're also fucked, and you are the most fucked. Because you don't go to the darkness and think on the right hand path. The right hand path is for conformists, not leaders. The left hand path is for leaders, dominators, conquerors, visionaries. That's the left hand path. And so I was applying that today to my training, and time flew by so much quicker. It was so much more enjoyable. And like, yeah, it's a game, but we're not playing games. We're playing on nightmare mode. And when you're blasting your music, doing what you enjoy, getting exceptional skills and talents, you now have abilities in this game. But your body's the physical avatar, and it's basically 3D VR in real time. In real time. In reality. We're living in a 3D plane. There's cost to living, not just financially, but on your body. There's wear and tear. There's a limit. We're living in a Saturnian world on time. And a lot of people are okay with wasting it. That's fucking sad as fuck. That is pathetically sad. And you know what? That's the average person. So if you're amping it up, living it up, right? Going all out, you know, a ritual, a party, whatever. Anything can be that when you got music playing, when you're locking in. Once you enjoy that thing, then you can blast your music while doing it, lock in, fuck it up. You know, fuck shit up, tear shit up. You have a human body that can do so much. Tear shit up. I'm not saying do something stupid where you get broken teeth and, you know, but I'm saying bring up the intensity because right now America is so fucking weak. You know, I'm gonna be honest, people are so fucking weak around the world. Most people don't have that intensity, that angst, that restlessness, that ambition, that drive. No, they fucking don't. They act like they do. No, they don't. That's all an act. At a certain point in what you do, there's a decision, and you just gotta disengage and detach. Because you know what? A lot of these pussies will try to cancel you just for being intense, but you just don't give a fuck. Stop giving a fuck. They don't deserve a fuck. Haha. They're not worth a fuck. Haha. But at the same time, because they don't give a fuck, so why should you give them a fuck if you want to go there? But in a literal sense, but in a metaphorical, symbolic, doesn't matter. A lot of people have nothing to contribute anymore. No individuality. And that is just so fucking pathetic and sad. And this whole video is me trying to be like people equal shit. But this is all people's fault. This is a lot of people. You say the same thing about a lot of because you know what? A lot of people show me the same thing. It's pattern recognition. It's fucking having eyes to see. It's 2 + 2 = 4 obvious. And you know what? Uh, you don't like that, you can fuck off and die. Because quite literally, that's where people. That's top. This is where people are at. Can't handle it. Yeah. No. We all have some ignorance, some weaknesses, but when you can visibly see a lot of people just aren't even excited or passionate, they don't even want to try. It's not even just that, it's like there's something you have a life purpose to do, and a lot of people just aren't listening to their calling. And you can see that. It's obvious. Obvious as hell. Saying obvious shit and being passionate about it is not making you a menace or some. But again, this is how stupid people are. Are you okay? Look in the fucking mirror. I'm unhinged. I got my own demons I'm dealing with, but I'm probably better off than most of you. You think I'm suffering? Okay. My body, my choice, I guess. I'm a sadomasochist, and I love it. And the fuck is wrong with you? Get used to it or die. Unless I'm directly in your way, of course, and you're actually doing something and using your space. But otherwise, fuck it. You know, fuck it. You have one fucking life. Do you really want to throw everything away for some stupid shit? Oh my god, no. That's why. But that's how people think. It blows my fucking mind. It really does. And I would say I feel bad for them, but I really don't, because they're ungrateful, jealous pricks. And at a certain point, it's like people will try to punish you for doing what you're supposed to do. I didn't make the rules, as far as I know. I didn't create the world, as far as I know. But, what was I gonna say? I didn't do all that, but I do know what I am dealing with. I do know, for the most part, what I am up against with the collective energy, at least. And it's just like, you wonder how cultures die. This is where it starts, the lack of passion. If you're a passionate person, you are an upstanding person of your culture. I've said in the last video, there is a fundamental connection between treacherous intent, deceitful intent, lack of passion, and this shitty, uninspired person people become. There's a correlation and um, between that and their unwillingness to embrace who they are. The truth is, most people don't know who the fuck they are. They don't have anything of real value. They have small little trinkets here and there, but there's nothing big, heavy, hard hitting, intense. We're talking dragon energy here and bringing that. And no, I mean the real thing. You know what a lot of people tell me now? They're like, oh, you're the real thing. I'm like, yeah, I am. Yes, I fucking am. And I know it. I know it. I'm not waiting here for someone's approval like everyone else. Jesus Christ, that kissing everyone's ass until you're dead, gone in the grave, and fucking over. Is that really how most of you want to live? Your words say no, but your actions say yes, 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 yes. Fuck me harder, daddy. That's a little explicit to say, but that's how most people are thinking. That's what they're basically telling you with their actions. Men and women think that way now. It's fucking sad. They have to try so hard to play a narrative like they're on top of them. They're fucking not. It's obvious as hell. Fucking not. But unfortunately, this has been normalized. You can't. People get suspicious of you when you're into hardcore stuff, when you have an intense life. It's like, I'm actually suspicious of people that don't have something hard, intense going on, because that tells me they're wasting a lot of time. They're being exploited. They're probably exploiting, and they're just taking up space and not making anything out of it. You know, you got to use your miles. You got to get somewhere fast. And I'm not saying don't take your time with stuff that you enjoy, but when you're not making something large scale, you know, you shouldn't be taking a ton of time on it. Intense results, you know, take an intense level of effort. And that's just it. People don't have any intensity to them, any angst anymore. And it's disgusting. To be honest with you, it's disgusting. They'll fake it, they'll amplify. But a lot of the stuff they do doesn't match with that. If you're someone who's, say, slamming stuff for attention, the rest of your life should match that. First off, that's just reckless. I don't know. Go smash some shit outside somewhere, making a video out of it instead of being a public disturbance. I mean, there's a time and place for everything, right? I'm saying be intense, but obviously, properly recuperate too. You know, use your time that you have to recuperate wisely, but also be intense. I'm not, but I'm also saying don't be one of those easygoing people. My God. I mean, I guess if you want to be that way, at least be exceptional at that. Then, if everything really does just line up and flow perfectly for you, but most people, most of that is that's just a facade. That's an act. You know, we're talking fire here, real fire, real passion, and oftentimes intellect. A lot of people are brain dead, really fucking brain dead, and it's sad. It really is. It really is. Sometimes you just gotta have that main character energy, and you just gotta put yourself in that mode. Lock the fuck in. And if you need to film it, if you need to blast music to motivate you, do it. Do whatever you can to make the environment, I'm not gonna say your own, but to make it something you can exist in. We have that freedom and luxury now. We have AirPods, we have music at our disposal, you know. If you want to lock in now, you can. If you want to film yourself doing stuff now, so you actually have motivation to continue doing it because now you're making cool videos out of it. You can do that now. Everything is monetized. Our suffering, our sadness, all of it. So, you know, make the most out of it because now it actually is something you can monetize. You can, create with. Someone fucks with you online, you know what I like to do? Sometimes I'll just talk talk them to death. But sometimes I want to get creative, and I'm very creative. I'm See, I laugh because I know uh, I know exactly what to do in these situations, and I won't spoil the fun. But you know, the devil isn't sitting there dwelling and mourning like a bitch, martyring himself like some Christ icon. The devil is already plotting his next move when he's been afflicted. He's already plotting how he's going to get revenge, and he's not instantly reacting like most people. He's already got a plan up his sleeve, you know? So that's kind of how I try to approach life, right? But unfortunately, a lot of people just, their idea of maturity is very ass backwards. You know, being mature isn't being a cocksucker of the world, and it's not submitting blindly to things. A lot of people age backwards. The younger they are, the smarter they are, oftentimes, in terms of creativity, inspiration, passion. And as we get older, we actually, in many ways, get stupider, really fucking stupid. And I mean in every way, almost thinkable. And I'm saying that's insane because people are already dumb enough as it is when they're young. But as they get older, they find ways to normalize and rationalize how dumb they are, which is insane. That is insane. As people get older, they've rationalized their stupidity. They've actually gotten cockier and arrogant, but it's more like I haven't really matured. I'm just too proud to gloat about my arrogance. So in many ways, people actually get more arrogant because now they think they're unteachable. Everyone thinks they're a teacher. Bullshit. Bullking shit. I'm saying it's hard for me to find people that can really teach me shit when it comes to the stuff that I'm excelling in. There are people out there who can. I'm not that arrogant. It might be a little bit, but most of the time I am putting my money where my mouth is. I'm living proof of the things I am proud of. There's a difference. But most people, it's like, I'm unteachable. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I'm gonna cancel you. It's bullshit, you know. And so, I'm not gonna rant too long. I'm actually not too pissed. I'm a little freaked out. Not like yesterday. Yesterday was, my God. Yesterday it hit me at once because there's stuff that's obvious as fuck, bright as day, and people gaslight you for like looking at the obvious. It's like, the sky is blue. No, it isn't. I'll kill you if you disagree with me. Kind of, that's the level of stupidity people are. The sky is not blue. And if you say it is, we'll cancel you. We'll try to diagnose you and try to put you in a psych ward. And yeah, that's how fucking dumb people are now. You can't say something about America being taken over by foreigners without us trying to go at you, cancel you, call you a this, a that, a like, okay, really? Yes, that is how dumb people are. People are really remarkably dumb. They have, I mean, at that point, just tell me you want to put a gun to my head and shoot me in the head. Because it's basically like when you erase someone's race and culture, that's basically what you're telling them. And to that, I would respond with, death is too too kind for you. And again, take everything and everyone with a grain of salt. Not everyone out there is an invader or a supremacist necessarily, but a lot of people don't care. Are kind of just puppets, and they are more common than you think. And a lot of people are more concerned now about being a racist than losing their culture. Wow. You care more about virtue signaling you're not a racist than you do about preserving your culture. Yeah, then there's something fucking wrong with you. And you don't need to be a supremacist or a radical person to necessarily preserve your culture, but you should care about your culture. There's a lot of strength in that. And that's just an example. But again, people are really dumb and they've been decentralized from having a spine in their own culture. And a lot of people kind of resent it because they've been taught by certain Israeli media that that's okay. Yeah, you want to talk about fucked in the head and sick. I mean, I've had my fair share of ignorance in previous years going up until 2024, but I was never disconnected from my culture. I never, I was never severed from my culture. I still valued it on a deep level and cared about it. You know, I've never my instinct I'm too connected to my lineage and instinct. Instinctually I know what's right and wrong, even if I am dumb and brainwashed. I know instinctually, and instinctually my instincts never allowed me to do the dumb shit people are doing, to do what people are doing today. You're not just brainwashed. You're not just believing in bullshit, but you have to kind of sever the instinct in you, you know, the drive within you. And unlike most people, I have a strong sense of heredity and a strong sense of conviction, of primal understanding, of tribal understanding. So even when I wasn't as radical as I now am, or as concerned about it, I always valued on a deep soul level my race and lineage and those of my culture, which is now a minority, because being a white goth is being a minority. And yes, goth is predominantly white for a reason. You don't have to be white to be goth, but trying to tell someone they're not goth because they're white and value their culture. No, goth can be anything, but it is predominantly white. A Nazi can be a goth, a black supremacist can be a goth. Goth has no boundaries, but likewise, goth is also not going to exclude those who are extremes. Okay? You can be a goth if you're a Klux, if you're a Satanist, if you're a Black Panther, if you're a um, Israeli and Jew. You can be goth of any, but it's predominantly white because oftentimes it's the white people who are acclimated to nightlife to the sci-fi stuff to the, I would say they are kind of more acclimated to the extraterrestrial, to the goetic stuff, to the forest, to the vampire stuff. They are more acclimated to the architecture and that distinct culture, right? And honestly, I think the agricultural revolution throughout history, I'm not going to say it was white only, but I do believe a predominant amount of, Italy with their revolution and culture and white culture and Gothic European. Yeah, yeah, Templars, Germanic stuff. Yeah, it's pretty goth. And it was also back then a high class thing. But, anyways, those are just examples. All of that was driven and motivated by people's instinct and love for their kind. And even if you are a white person who, for whatever reason, resents your own people, if you have enough instinctual inclination to care, you might say one thing, but you're going to do another because it's in your nature. And you can be raised by liberals or woke conservatives, but if your natural inclination, even if you think otherwise, is strong enough, you're going to hold on to your ancestry because it's in your nature. Racism can skip a generation. My grandparents were very. Me, it varies. It depends on the person, honestly, in the context, but it doesn't change my inclination and my agenda and my own beliefs, which is live and let live. But the minute you think it's okay to fuck with my race, me, or somebody I deeply desire who's also of my lineage, and if I feel someone I am perfect for is being taken away from me because of white erasure, oh my god, you don't even know the fucking level I would go to. Nazis would look like kindergarten good guys compared to the level I would go to and the death I would fight to preserve what I love. Okay. You do not fuck with the devil of white ancestry. Because trust me, Nazis, you won't. Yeah, yeah, you don't want to go there. I mean, you want to talk about our ancestry. Rome was bad. Oh my god. They killed the Gauls and foreign invaders in the millions. And that wasn't in recent history. That was in, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. They killed more millions than Germans did Judeo people. And I'm not going to say I know the statistics, and I'm not going to act like that. I don't think most people have accurate statistics, but I'm not going to say some think it was 8, some think it was 4, some think it was 2. Look, Romans killed more in their time, and in their time, a million was a lot more people than it is right now. And you know why they did that? Because they saw them for what they are. Rome was a first-class society. Every society was still shit back in the day, okay? Rome wasn't perfect, but compared to the other civilizations, they had a pretty good. It's still shit, I'm sure, in many ways, but again, for their time, they were very high class. They were very structured for their time, keyword. And they annihilated the enemy because they understood the enemy for what they were. They didn't try to assimilate them and then moralize and then rationalize them and get them up to a level where they would later on be more rational but still have this treacherous intent to go and get no. They were motherfucking I mean, you want to talk about going overboard, okay, they may have arguably been. Maybe. But anyways, this video isn't about a race war. I just like to use this as an example, though, to let people know, like, you can think one way, but I believe people's true nature, if it is within them, if they haven't been mutilated, too pussified, will always come back. They'll always come back. To really get rid of race, you have to destroy someone's instinct. You have to destroy the nature within people. And if you're somebody who's practicing from a place of true passion, from true will, you're never going to be set. You'll never have that cord severed. You can sever the umbilical cord from the womb, but you can't sever the ancestry from one person's own self. And a lot of people betray the self. It takes a lot to make a person turn on their own race. A lot. And don't get me wrong, it's been pretty effective. It has been. Because they understand, those in power who want a white erasure, they understand they're not going to kill all of us, but they will wage a war on us when we've been weakened enough, when we are weak enough and small enough in numbers, disconnected enough, disarmed enough. Then they will wage war to kill the remaining of us who never succumb, who never give in. And a lot of us may seriously die fighting in our extinction. This is a real threat. We are talking about an entire world turning into a mud hut civilization, but people are still playing games, calling us Nazis, calling us this, that, tit, tat. This is very real. We are talking about a fucking future and then a horrible shit wasteland of a planet. And more people are concerned and bitching about. No, no. I think Germany should have been 100 times harsher towards the right people. I don't think everybody they killed deserved to die. But I don't think for a second that we should have aligned with Russia or any of the motherfuckers, you know, that are in the Middle East. No, no. And I'm not going to say that Germany would have been perfect. Absolutely not. I'm not a national socialist, and I'm not a neo Nazi. But I am a strong believer and a true believer in my race, and I do believe in things far scarier than those two categories of being. And this isn't me trying to go on a tangent, but I see a lot of white people today, and I'm like, you don't need to be, you know, a supremacist, but don't be afraid to express yourself, to live your truth as a white person. And don't be afraid to fight back. If someone's racist to you, put them in their place. Let them know this is your king country. And a lot of people are afraid to do that. I'll tell someone to their face, I'll scream it out loud if I feel like it. You know why? Because I am already discriminated for being a neurodivergent, for embracing the alternative culture. Alternative culture for white people is taking a huge blow right now. It's almost gone. It's almost extinct. Okay? So the part of my culture I care about is almost extinct. Okay? So yeah, I am pissed. But I'm not going to take that out on one specific individual. But I'm going to do something else entirely. I'm going to be an upstanding example of my own race. And I'm going to demonstrate just how powerful we really are. And you know how I'm going to do that? I'm going to turn up the intensity in a lot of areas of my life. I'm going to continue to do that until I break out of the prison of collective ignorance that this world suffers from. And then, when we are unified enough, we will discuss taking back what is rightfully ours. And we will go from there. I don't think jumping the gun is always the right option, but I'm not afraid to either. And I would do so in a heartbeat if I thought it would really grant us true peace. In a, collective, we'll never, peace is a lie, but you know what I mean. We'll have peace in the sense that we do not have to worry about our future being erased. Because truthfully, you do not want to see a world that looks like a mud hut planet. You do not want to see Africa open a portal to hell, and you do not want to see their demons flood the earth and then a brown mud hut hell on earth civilization that becomes possessed. You do not want to see that. You do not want to see the dark side of other cultures flooding and invading America, and every white woman raped, and every man mutilated, castrated, and it goes on and on. And I'm not saying every foreigner wants that, but their dictators, their leaders, their higher powers do, and a lot of them still resent us, even if they act nice to us in public. And not all of them, but enough of them. And the other half are fine with us being invaded and slowly erased. And even those who want to befriend us want to interbreed with us. Very few want to stay with their own kind. And even if they do, they're going to have kids, and you know what their kids are going to be taught? They're going to be taught to interbreed. And soon enough, the world will descend into shit. So there has to be a line you draw somewhere. And I do believe in eugenics. Now, that I will say openly, I will say that publicly. I will say, nope, I am a eugenicist. Yep. Because you want something real, get it in its fullest intensity. You want a strong group? Yeah. Yeah. No, I do not find other groups attractive at all. Not even a little bit. The most you can do as a woman to lure a man is probably use your body, but in the face, I am not. If I am not, and I will not even. And it starts in the eyes, and no. And that's even if you're fit, which is a big if. It takes a lot to get me interested. And I'm not passionate about that, so the odds are unlikely. You, yeah, really unlikely. This isn't a video of me trying to bitch. I don't want to come off as negative, but I do want to reveal or share or reflect or continue. But yeah, I'll be right back. And you know what? I'm gonna take a gummy. But you know what? You know what, guys? Dagon, I know exactly what you are. Conrad Paschalk, Dagon fucking Brockamai. I'm taking a love gummy, so I want to say this and then switch gears because I don't want to be thinking about you while I'm in that state. I just took it, so it's going to be hitting pretty hard soon because I'm sensitive to that stuff. Dagon, you are a motherfucking race traitor and a pedophile. You would sell your own people out before you would stand with them just because they are calling you out for your bullshit. You know who? What else does? You know what else? What other types of people do that? Judeo people of Israeli descent, specifically the ones who are okay with buying their way in. And you know why white people have enabled this? Because it was convenient. That's why they let slaves over here. And that's why they let them over as slaves. And that was stupid. But they did it because it was easy at the time. Because it benefited them. Because they were pussified by religious culture. That's why they did it. Dagon, you are a motherfucking race traitor, but you pretend to be a Nazi. You don't even need to be a Nazi to love your race. Now, do I care if you're one? Personally, no, I don't give a shit. I don't. Because they weren't wrong about everything. They weren't right about everything. But they were certainly they were a lot less of a threat to the world than Judeo supremacy. That's for sure. Yeah. They cared about their people a lot more than the Judeo government did. Yeah. They weren't out there mutilating little boys and girls like the Judeo culture was in mass numbers, letting them grow all fucked up and suicidal. I don't think a lot of you understand. Your enemies want you to commit suicide. And for a while, I was actually like, hey, maybe I agree with you. But then I realized, as depressing as life is, we cannot let these motherfuckers win. Because if we kill ourselves, we're doing exactly what they want us to do. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I think we can express suicidal emotion and make good art out of it. But don't kill yourself. Because if you do that, you're just giving the Israeli government what they want, which is more power and supremacy over your culture. They want you to kill yourself. No, I'm going to live out of spite of them. I'm going to become something they absolutely hate more. But you know what? I hate you guys more. I hate you for cutting off our dicks, for enabling that. I hate you for trying to get me killed. I hate you for ruining our women and for turning our culture into shit and pussifying America, or at least contributing to it. And there's a lot more things I hate them for, but I'm not going to say it on video because I'm not trying to get deleted. But do I really care if this channel gets deleted? No, because I don't even really watch these videos. But should I ever, I have it here. If not, I get my thoughts out. I don't care. I have stalkers on this channel. Anyways, do not kill yourself if you're white, especially, because they want you to kill yourself. The suicide statistics for white people are higher than you think because they want you to do that to yourself. So don't do that to yourself. Don't let them win. Fuck them. As a matter of fact, live just to spite them. But more importantly, live to redeem your culture if you're white. And if you don't want to, then maybe you are a burden and should. But I'm not going to be specific and say specific people. All right. That's all I really need to say. Yeah, have passion or don't. And if you don't, well, you're getting nowhere and anywhere. in anything. Even if you do great at it, it's kind of wasted. So yeah, not much more to say there. Those are my thoughts. Yeah.